Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron. Yesterday we took a look at the Optimus Prime part of the Haslab Transformers Generations Legacy Robots in Disguise Omega Prime. This time we're going to look at Ultra Magnus and Blue Bolt. First off, we have the same platform as before. You only get one of these, but it is big enough to fit Optimus Prime in his fire truck. And Ultra Magnus is, as we can see from the previous video, a little smaller. So he fits just fine on this display. And he is a really cool car carrier. I really dig this mold. I like this design. I loved when we got Siege Ultra Magnus and he referenced this front end is just the coolest thing to me. The way this like cow catcher piece works, the like in-bent angle on the windshields that it runs almost perfectly perpendicular to the cow catcher. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is just a really aggressive front end that I really like a lot. I love the metallic, the vac metal here. That blue chrome, the silver, the gold, it looks so good. His colors in general, like you see a little bit of red peeking out, but it's mostly white and blue and this metallic gray. I like the sheen. There's a little bit of pearlescence on this gray that I think helps give it an industrial look. That is just very satisfying to me. And he does, like, he's a functional, you know, he rolls just fine. He can fit Autobots and cars in here. You can open up the back here. You can open up these sections around, and you can even take these sections and lower it. So he's got like a ramp you can drive on. It is a pretty large car carrier too. You can, you know, easily drive up a deluxe up here. If we're talking about, you know, the only current wave 1 deluxe, like they're itty bitty, you can fit 3 deluxes in here without any issue. The smaller ones you could even squeeze some more in, but I like that it is a functional car carrier. That sort of play pattern is the type of design decision that really appeals to me. And again, it is simple enough to engage or disengage the ramps. They have little tabs on the sides here. You bring in these pieces and they'll lock it in place here on either side like so. Gets it nice and tidy. And then you can bring up our pieces here. I even like this is a small thing, these tab in here, but I like that the top ramps go up a little bit and have stops on them to prevent cars from rolling forward. Now, these stops are obviously just tabs that'll clip in here when you fold them up, but it's the sort of thing that it's like, oh, that does a functional thing. It's the type of detail that is really nice. In terms of paint, it's really just robot mode paint that's obvious in this mode. He's got, you know, his wheel wells painted. He's got like the front end behind the grill and stuff is painted. It just looks nice. It's got a lot of fun molded detail. I'm really glad they didn't go with the prototype plastic. I kind of want these tires to be rubber, same with Optimus Prime, but I recognize that the rubber shrinkage the last time the mold was reissued was a problem. So I understand why they went with hard plastic. That being said, we're not going to talk about Ultra Magnus without talking about our new robot, Blue Bolt. Blue Bolt here, I'd essentially call him a weaponizer. He doesn't really have an alt mode. He's almost like a big target master. He turns into what was the original Ultra Magnus's weapon mode. And he is a nice little robot. Like, we're starting out in alt mode here, but he's got like a cool ninja head. He is a little fiddly. We'll put that back on. But I like his head design a lot. He's got like Gatling guns for arms. He's got wings. He's the original Toys Blue Bolt blaster, but as a robot. I just find it really fun that he is a full robot. He can go 360 on the arms. He can go out pretty far, which I appreciate the way that is cut. He's got a 90-degree knee bend. He's got a swivel at the elbow. Elbow. He can rotate his wrists, but again, he doesn't have hands, so it doesn't like do much. He's got pegs and ports all over. He's got, he can do a full Van Damme. He does have a waist swivel. This piece can open up, but that's more part of his transformation. He has a deeper than 90-degree knee bend, which I appreciate. Lets him get in some, if he's blasting stuff as he's riding the whip, he can absolutely do that. Come on. There we go. I like that. I like, you can get him in a kneeling position as he's maybe mowing down Deceptidudes. And I think I just got to there we go, and get that piece back on the back. So he can kneel plenty fine. He doesn't have ankle tilt. But again, he's called a battle master. Like I think he's more of a weaponizer. But like for a battle master or weaponizer, I think it's pretty great. And for what was essentially, right, it's obviously included in the price of the set, but what was the goal extension thing, he's pretty fantastic. In terms of transformation, Blue Bolts' transformation is pretty simple. As a weaponizer, even though he's called a battle master, we're going to rip off his arms. He goes into sections. These pieces come off his back. You can disengage the legs. You can like split them out even further. But for the transformation into his like Blue Bolt blaster mode, we don't need to do that. We're going to fold up the feet here. We're going to bring up this way on either side. We can open up his torso and his back, which lets us flip around his head like so, closing that back up. Then we can close up these pieces. He forms a nice little rectangle, closing that. So then what we have are ports right down here. And these ports, like these slots up here, those will fit these arms once we transform them. Simple enough. This is the peg that's going to go into a port. You're going to close this. You're going to collapse that down, turn it. This is the tab that's going to go into the slot. We want this facing, let's see, if we are tabbing this guy in this way, we want this piece facing this way, like so. Get it in there. Same thing on this side. Close that piece, turn that tab, turn this piece so it's all horizontal. Come in here, port, flip this the other way because I got it wrong again, like that. And then we have these pieces, which are going to sit right up front on either side here. And we can flip open a targeting reticule. And here is the Blue Bolts blaster. And in fact, it does interact with Ultra Magnus. I was wrong again, even though I thought I was wrong the first time. We flip him around because we want the blaster pieces at the bottom, because these blue ports here go into those pegs there. And he can give Ultra Magnus in his vehicle mode the Blue Bolt blaster like his original toy. Again, I love that they gave us they were like, yeah, take an extra transformer. It's not like the most advanced thing in the world. He breaks up into a lot of pieces. So he is a really good weaponizer. Like there's ports. These rings, I don't even know what I'm going to do with them, but they have ports in the back. Like this piece can come off. Again, this breaks down into like several sections. It's what I like, and these can come apart, right? So like those can come apart. This can all come apart. There's even storage for him in Ultra Magnus's bot mode. These can come apart. This is a nice weaponizer, fossilizer, armorizer, whatever you want to call it, because of it breaks up into nice, distinct, blocky shapes. Like this right here, you can fold this piece out, and if you put this into the side somewhere, this is a pretty nice looking blaster. Or you can combine this with something else because it's got a port. That ability to combine stuff from like generic blocky shapes, I think, is what is so satisfying about weaponizers. And I think the armorizers kind of forgot about that part of the play pattern, which is what made the armorizers so frustrating. I'm going to clean this up off camera because you don't need to see it, and we'll get back to Ultra Magnus. I'm done ranting, I promise. All right, the last thing I want to say is just it is blaster compatible. These pieces can hold effect pieces. You can put them in the center It is just, again, a very nice collection of parts that also happens to transform into a robot that accentuates the figures. It's just, great value. My only minorest complaint, and this is not a real thing, like there was no expectation for this, but it would have been kind of cool if there was a spot for us to stick a Titan Master that could pilot this thing. Like, so it's a blaster, but it's also some sort of hover vehicle or something. I think that would have been kind of neat. But I recognize that I'm asking for the moon after they've already delivered us a fantastic little bit of engineering and value. Then let's talk about Ultra Magnus's transformation. We have here a nice looking car carrier that does turn into a robot. To start out, we're going to come in and we're going to open this piece up on either side, splitting out, giving a little bit of room for us to take and separate here this ramp section. This can fold up all the way back here. We can clip that in nicely, flip the whole thing over. It is tabbed in two spots. These wheels here tab in. You can see that slot right there. Same thing on that side. And then these feet tab in, but that's a very loose connection. It's just kind of a locking keying mechanism. That's the main point of friction, but we can split things up. So we do have our cab, and this cab, you can see, is not a very convincing solo cab. Same thing with, Optimus Prime wasn't a very convincing solo cab in robot car robots. Jesus. I might be a little loopy from cold medicine. We're going to come in and we're going to open up these, the ramps. We can flip out these pieces like so, get them nice and tidy. Split the legs on both ends. We're going to set one section down, focus on the other. We can take this piece with that section up. We can open up this piece. We don't need to go all the way because it's going to go back to where it was, but it untabs from this, which lets us slide out this foot, bringing the foot up, closing it back in. We can, like I said, close it back up the way it was. We can take this piece, fold it back up, and we're going to take the whole, go this way. Take the whole thing, going around the other way, and we can take our tab, our port, and put it in right there, like so. We can come in and we can fold this piece down, forming our little knee pad piece. And listen to that ratchet. Bring that up all the way. And there you can see one leg piece donezies. Same thing on the other side. Open this piece up, fold this down, fold this up, close it back, close that piece up again. Taking this piece, fold it, the cage, the rack, all the way around. And then we've got pegs that go into spots right there. And folding this down to get our little knee piece, our fake knee, because that's not really like the knee. I guess it kind of is the knee joint. Folding our crotch piece up, and then we can take our crotch. There's one tab on one side and a slot on the other. Simple enough to connect, set aside right there, coming back to our cab section. Now, this cab, we have a couple, we got to form the arms and everything. This backpack piece, we want to come in and there's a peg on either side that folded up. We can, with that separated, lift and raise. And it's a little odd because this section sits back, but the whole thing can come up and out of the way, which lets us split out our arms like so. With that done, we can also come in, we're going to untab on either side our nice grill, folding it up. And this is mostly to get this out of the way because doesn't have a big part to play in Ultra Magnus's robot mode. That done like so. We can come in and we're going to open up this panel here. We do have, and this is a nice little feature. I like that in this version of the toy, Ultra Magnus does get his matrix piece. We can fold his head around. I think it wasn't a thing in the original. Closing up and closing back that tab like yeah. We can bring around our arms, and here you can see Ultra Magnus's hands. We can fold up our wheels. They close up the box nicely on either side. We do have sections to click in on either side, a tab and a slot. Same thing on this side, like so. You can kind of see there is our Ultra Magnus torso piece. We're going to flip down this section because these two tabs are how he's going to connect to the crotchal area. We can bring around and split apart his ramps, which will come around and form his wing section, which we can also, I didn't show it on camera, but you can collapse them like so, kind of holding them in place. These pieces come down. Oh, let's get the armature around the right way. Collapsing like so. They are going to sit, and there is, you can see it this way, there's that slot there, connects to this tab right here on either side, and you can lock it in place using this tabbed feature on both ends, like so. This comes down, and we can collapse it. I had my angle wrong for these pieces. I was not paying attention. There is a peg and a port right there that guides you exactly what position they need to be in. And that shows you that this whole section actually needs to flip this way in order to get the wings at the right position. And these slots and tabs will connect right here. And here is his torso and chest. And we can take this piece. Again, there's keyed tabs right here. We've got the pieces right there. That slides in. And here is, let's get our camera in the right position. Here is Ultra Magnus in his robot mode. And again, for a piece that is, he's almost just a companion character existing to create Omega Prime. In the show, he was a character in his own right. But for what is an assembly of upgrade pieces, he forms a pretty good robot mode. There are design compromises here. We have what is essentially a hollow chest. We have hollow legs. We have odd proportions. But it's all stuff that's odd and true to the design of the character and its intent. And it happens to be very posable, which I was genuinely surprised by. I knew that they were shooting for posability. I didn't realize how well they'd succeed. We have what is a very nice head sculpt. I mean, that is a great Car Robots Ultra Magnus head sculpt. I really like it. I love the Autobot symbol at the top of his forehead. He's got a platform that he can swivel on. He can nod up and down. He can waggle and tilt a little bit. There is no waist articulation, which of course is because of the way that joint is built. But we do have 360 on the arms. If you watch out for the wings, we can go out that far. But if you need a little more articulation, you can untab it to get just a little more articulation out of the way, which I am impressed by. We can close that back up. We do have an individual other jointage here. We do have bicep swivel. We have a surprising deeper than 90-degree bend on his elbow, despite how boxy he is. We've got wrist swivel. We've got a wrist ball joint, so you can get these hands out. They do have a thumb that is a little odd, but we'll show why that is the case later. But he does have, a ball joint on the palm, as well as fingers that are articulated as a group. He can, if you get his arms out of the way, do the full Van Damme. Come back. He can kick up pretty decently high. I'm impressed by that as a front kick. His back kick is going to be limited because of the butt flap, but he does have a deeper than 90-degree knee bend. So, you can get him. Now, his shins are so big, you cannot realistically get him into a good kneel. His arms don't reach far enough for him to actually kneel. but he can like attempt the Iron Man landing pose, and he looks pretty goofy doing it. But you know, I appreciate that the attempt is there. He does have thigh swivel. He does have ankle tilt, which I appreciate. It is the sort of thing that, again, for someone who knows how to pose figures, which I do not claim to be that person, you can probably get him into more surprisingly dynamic poses than you would expect from, again, what is an assembly of parts that are used to upgrade into Omega Prime. Now that we've gotten them both into robot modes and super robot mode, you can see how they compare to each other in terms of size. I like the way they look as a pair as well. If you take this piece, again, there are these like two pieces that connect our platforms. You can split them out like so. You can take these pieces that came in the box, connect these like so. Our super mode Optimus Prime, we can stick this piece in the back to get him suspended. You can also, excuse me, this piece does come off, so you can flip it the other way. And he does have a port on the back end to display him like so. He's a little side heavy, but that does exist. And same thing with Ultra Magnus. He does have a piece here that if we take an invert, we can stick that piece. This one actually wants that piece. And again, we have two ports here that we can fit like so. So, you know, you have these options to display them, but they're sturdy enough that you can just set them onto either side. And it's a great, like, I like the fact that there's so much thought put into displaying these as a pair, because they do spend, you know, most of the show as their individual character pieces, and they have such presence. I mean, these are big boys. If we're comparing them to current standard Deluxes and Voyagers, they are, you know, they have a ton of presence. They make me want to get, I know I've got one of the Car Robots brothers. I hope we come out with the three. I'd love to get them with Optimus Prime. It also makes me want a new Rail Racer. Now, we did do Blue Bolts earlier, and he can connect with Ultra Magnus in his robot mode. You can see there are these ports back here. Can I get that in light? Yeah. So these ports back here, you do want to turn your handles sideways. You can slide them back. Oop, maybe I got to do it this way. Engage in those ports there, and then you can have your hands up and articulated, grabbing. This is one of those things that was really easy to do off camera, but as soon as I try and move around the camera to do it, it's really hard. Yeah, so you can get his bolt blaster up to his chest. He's got the articulation to fire it in a really cool way. Ultra Magnus, again, this isn't who I think of in robot mode, but the vehicle mode is super iconic to me. It is what makes me happiest when I look at Ultra Magnus. I really, really dig it. I'm really happy to have these two figures. Obviously, we still need to look at the Omega Prime mode, but that I think we'll have to wait for the third video. We've done Optimus Prime and his super mode. We've done Ultra Magnus. I'm going to transform this back into just regular Optimus Prime mode, and then I'm going to take apart Ultra Magnus on camera, and we'll do that combination in the next video. Thanks everybody for watching. Catch you on the next one. Bye.